is Fight Night in Lynchburg, Virginia. September 6th in the Hill City. There's only one place to be. These are no ordinary fights. Featuring the raw power of heavyweight OG James Willis, the lightning hands of Cristian Gallo Negro Fuentes, and Amherst's own, undefeated, 16-0, the native nightmare, DeAnda. These are the fights our city's been waiting for. What happens next? Only one way to find out. Thunder and Lightning. Saturday, September 6th. Crosswhite Athletic Club in Lynchburg, Virginia. For tickets, message Scott Cujo Sigmon on Facebook.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Teflon John coming to you with another episode of the Spotlight Insider. And today we're coming back to the Hurt Factory. We got my man Scott Cujo Sigmon. Glad to have you back. And this time we're back with you and some more of your family. So if you can tell everyone who we got here.
I got you. How you guys doing? So first, I got DeAnda right here, 22-year-old phenom. Started boxing 5 months before his 18th birthday. Turned pro. 2 days after that, 16-0. I believe you got 10 knockouts, don't you? Yeah, 10 knockouts. He's fought multiple 10-rounders. He's just coming off of a ESPN bout. Next to him is Cristian Fuentes, 24 years old. Cristian, what are you, 6-0? From El Salvador and Guatemala. Make sure we throw both of those in there.
Yes, sir.
They are both just two of the most gifted fighters, most charismatic, and greatest people that I've ever worked with. And I'm really happy that I've been able to give them the gift of boxing and that the community of Lynchburg has stepped up behind them the way that they have. Austin being on ESPN is not just a result of my endeavors and his hard work, but also the support that the community has given.
That's huge. That's huge. So also let's start with you. So what does Scott's mentorship mean to you in and outside the gym?
It means a lot. You know, he was somebody that just took me under their wing and really didn't even know if I was going to take it as far as we've gotten to this extent.
I knew.
I didn't know that I was even going to make it this far, but he had belief since day one, since I walked in the gym. And everything that he has said about me coming up and being able to show class my skills and hard work and dedication definitely came true. And I'm thankful for every moment of it. His mentorship outside of the ring, he's like a big brother to me. He makes sure that I'm not messing up. I'm always on track. Hey, have you done this? Hey, have you done that? Making sure that I'm always sharpening my skills and just staying focused on the prize that we really want to work towards, which is greatness.
Now, I know playing sports and, being an athlete is hard to listen to everyone, right? So what was the moment or when did it click for you that Scott was the guy for you?
Right off the bat, it clicked. When I, turned 18 and I fought, we went and had a meeting with a couple of people, and, his name was Chris England and Charles Crumpler, and they took me under their wing, not knowing who I was, but just for the respect they had for Scott and the friendship that Scott had with them, they gave me an opportunity to really show class and give everybody and myself a chance to really see what I could do with boxing and just as a man in general. And I knew since that day when Scott took me under his wing and said, this is going to be the next guy that comes behind me, then I knew.
Okay. Cristian, so what about you? What does his mentorship mean to you?
Well, I mean, it means a lot, based on his experience and everything he had done for the sport. So I feel like, I got the right guy who is teaching me how to get to the best and to the top of this sport, So it means a lot to me. And outside the ring, he's just a great person, that you can look at it too and trying to be like him, So, yeah.
Okay.
I would like to say I don't want to take full credit for Cristian. Cristian is a great man in his own right, but in addition to that is Coach Bishop. Bishop Walker. Is that correct? That's the right name. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Bishop Walker. We just call him Ugly Bishop, and trust me, he's ugly. But
He's
but
pretty,
Bishop,
pretty.
but like Bishop's done a great job. He's definitely taken that mentorship role really in life and showing him what kind of man he should be. And like I said, Cristian and I don't know that I've met his family in a personal way, but you could tell your mom and your dad that they've done a great job with him. I think that he's a great role model to any young boxer coming up behind him. Just a great man, and I'm blessed that he's coming in my life and that I get to help guide his career.
That's awesome, man. So, Cristian, what was that moment when it clicked for you that Scott was the guy to be under and to trust with that mentorship for your career?
Well, I mean, like I say again, it's based on numbers and what he has done for the sport. So, me and my coach will always, look at him and be like, hey, he's the guy to, who can guide us to be where we want to be.
Yeah.
We have, we got some in it, but like at the end of the day, we're here, we're working together, and I trust him, and I know he trusts me, so we're gonna get to it together.
Well, I think the moment it clicked for him, he and I had a great working relationship, and there's a lot of snakes in this sport, and there was a promoter in California, and just like the snake in the garden, he came and promised him a lot of things and got him locked up in a contract for a short period of time after we had got off to a meteoric start. And, it was unfortunate that Cristian had to learn it the hard way, but, luckily there wasn't a lot of damage done. He just lost some time. And Cristian is the kind of person, I think he's admitted that he was wrong and that he's grown from that. And I think the fact that I forgave him the way that I did and that we work together now, I think it made our bond even stronger. And I'm sure we're going to be together to the end, and I know that.
So who's been with you longer, Austin or Cristian?
Austin. Austin is really what I built the cornerstone of my company on recently since COVID. Before, I think everybody believed it was just going to be me, right? That was it. I was a one-shot wonder, right? And that was going to be the end. And then through Austin, I proved that this community and the fighters, there was more than just me here. Yeah. And then recently we proved that with the heavyweight James Willis, and Cristian is coming up right behind that. And I think he's patiently waiting, he's watching, and he's learning.
That's good. So, Austin, hearing what he did for Cristian, with that contract deal, like, what does that mean to you to have someone that's not only going to fight for you, right, but they're going to fight alongside of you with your career and have your best interest in mind?
It just shows the loyalty that Scott has for me. He could have, easily thrown me out there with whoever and got what he wanted and leave, but he showed that it was more than the money. It showed that we had a friendship and we had something that is very rare to find, like a great duo. Cristian has that with Bishop and I have that with Scott. It was a great duo, and we're here to show, that we're here. And he's definitely shown everybody and told everybody, he called it and said, Austin's going to be the next thing. And I'm slowly rising to, everything that he said, and it's coming true.
Okay.
There was a fighter that I was negotiating with, potentially work with moving forward, and I only work with fighters that I'm fans of, or the ones that I'm drawn to them and attracted to. And this fighter told me that he didn't think that he didn't want to work with me if I was going to have emotional responses. But for me, it's all emotion, right? Like, we're in the trenches together. Like Austin, Cristian, James, right? I mean, I love them as people. I love them like my family. And I love boxing more than anything. Well, maybe not anything. I love my wife and my kids more, but boxing is my greatest love outside of my family. And I want to give boxing the best thing possible. So I curate the fighters that I want to present. And, these guys are long shots, I know, because they don't have these deep amateur pedigrees and they don't have any respect for Central Virginia, the boxing world. But I think we're garnering that respect. And like I said, these guys, that they're the cornerstone of my life, basically, outside of my family. Austin DeAnda, James Willis, Cristian Fuentes, and then God willing, there's a young man from Lynchburg coming up behind them named Rashawn Morgan. And I just, if Rashawn believes the path, I have no doubt that kid could be world champion as well.
Gotcha. All right, Cristian. So when you think about the Hurt Factory and you come in here and train, like what motivates you, and why do you come here day in, day out?
Well, I mean, you look at these two guys, you know, a lot of motivation between him and him, you know. Like Austin is about to go up, you know, he's going up. So it's a big motivation for me. But then you look at Scott, what he did for the sport. So it's like, how can you not get motivated by that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just has to be motivated either way. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not, you're just a fool. You don't believe, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Well, all right, this is the last time I'm going to keep interjecting. I'm going to try to let them talk more, but I don't want to take any credit away. Cristian's main gym is Ugly Bishop's, and Bishop is his main trainer. Cristian does come down here. We think tank sometimes together, like Bishop and I and Cristian. Like I'll train Cristian and I'll give them pointers of what I think, and they'll tell me what they think. So, I mean, it is a very collaborative effort, and it's a partnership between Bishop, Cristian, and I. So I don't want to take – you know, I'm all about taking my credit when it's due, but I can't take the credit. This is a definite partnership, and they are the architects of the fighter that he is.
That's what's up. So Austin, why should people come here and experience this gym for themselves?
You know, I was just some Amherst kid. I wrestled, you know, was a troublemaker, and I wanted to change my life around. I wanted to, you know, I wasn't gifted the silver spoon, you know. You know, there's times where, you know, I had to struggle to get meals. There's times that I had to, you know, maybe do some stuff to get some money, you know, and that's all in the past. And I came into the gym looking up boxing gyms. I was like, you know, I want to get out. You know, I want to do something for me and my family. And I found Scott, and I trained, and then I sparred. And, you know, I felt like this is where I needed to be. I felt like God put him there for a reason. You know, when I looked him up, and he was the first gym, and he was the only gym around here that actually cares about the fighters, cares about, you know, the industry and all the stuff that he actually represents around here, whether it's boxing, getting in shape, or just doing it for health benefits. You know, he's the guy, and I've always heard that he was the guy. And me being here for the past 5 years, I figured out that he is the ticket out of here. You know, nobody has ever, you know, walked through Lynchburg like he has. You know, he's brought boxing to Lynchburg. He's done a lot of stuff in Virginia as a fighter himself, and him bringing me and Cristian up, and, you know, Cristian coming behind me, and then we got great fighters coming behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Scott's definitely the gym you want to be at. No other gym, you know?
So going back to y'all's story, how important is it when you said that you believed in Austin? So how important is it for you to know that he actually believes in you and that he's going to push you to get where you want to be?
I remember I've been saying that I wanted to box since I was 10 years old, and everybody laughed at me. I was 240 at one point. You know, I lost a ton of weight, and nobody cared. Everybody laughed at me. They laughed at the fat kid. Oh, he's not going to be nothing. He's not going to do nothing. You know, my family always has pushed me to do what I want and what I care for. And besides my parents being my day one supporters, it's always been Scott, nobody else. Like, there's been people that says, well, Austin ain't going to make it past one fight. This is just like a little thing that he's doing. He ain't going to make it. And Scott's argued with them. Scott's told him, no, he is going to be great. And that's how I knew, okay, somebody that doesn't know who I am, I'm 17 years old, I'm walking into a gym saying, look, I want to box for money, I want to be something. He just took me under his wing, and he had faith, and he gave me the tools to use to get to the top. And I'm slowly making my way up there. And, you know, the only thing you have in this world, you know, is your word and your kahunas. And, you know, his word has been everything to me. So we're just going to keep going.
I still remember, I call it the class he came up in. You know, we had a couple of guys in here. We had a bantamweight that could punch a little bit, and he fell to the wayside. He didn't have the guts to keep stepping into the ring. And then we had a middleweight that He thought he knew better, and so he left, and he got knocked unconscious in his very next fight, got spaghetti-legged. So these guys, they come and go. But I remember they were both considered like better in what I call his class, like the fighters that were coming up at his time. And obviously he's the only one that stood the test of time. But it was maybe 5 or 6 weeks in, and I still remember this moment like it was yesterday because, I was always telling him what I believed he could be and how hard it was going to be, and however tough he thought the road was going to be, it was going to be 20 times longer. Like I was preparing him for how hard it was going to be. And it was maybe like the 6th week he sparred. And that day there was like 50 people in the gym to watch the sparring. And not that many people ever come to sparring. And after one of his rounds, there was like a little golf clap. I get emotional thinking about it. I leaned in, and I'm sure you remember this. And I leaned in and I said, I always knew you were the star. They're just starting to realize it. And I'm talking, this is 6 weeks in. And I met investors within 4 weeks. And like, he still wasn't great yet. Like it took the eye to know. But look, and I've been saying it, like, there's guys like Rashad and Logan, and then Jake Grove, and then, of course, me. I'm not in the stratosphere of those guys, but, I've done a lot. But I think when it's all said and done is barring any kind of catastrophe that's uncontrollable, like, the act of God, us 4 are going to be forgotten once it's his time. Like it's not going to be close.
Big man. Cristian, so when did you fall in love with boxing?
When I met that guy right there, when I fell in love, when I met my coach, he was the first one to believe in me. He did it before I even believe in my own self,
You were watching him?
Yeah, it's a crazy story how we met, But so he was the one boxing, and I wanted to start to do something, with my life. So yeah, I started boxing, and I was watching how how good he was, and I was like, hey, I want to be like him, And he was the first one to believe that I was going to be somebody in boxing. I didn't even believe in myself. So yeah, like, man, everything happened so crazy and so fast that I can't really tell you exactly when I fell in love with the sport. But I'm just here, and he's with me. And as long as he's with me, I'd be in love with the sport. One day if he's not here, I don't know if I'd be able with the same. I will do this with the same love that I do it now.
Got you. So was it?
I think it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like the belief that he had in Christian Bishop, and the belief that I had in Austin, and the fact that we've pulled through all of these obstacles together.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to Tank Davis and Calvin Ford. Calvin has a fighter on the September 6th show, and I've known Calvin for years, as long as I can remember back in boxing. But I remember he started Tank out, and Tank was a little kid, and he had these other kids around him that were all good too, and a lot of them succumbed to the violence in Baltimore, and Tank was one of the only ones that made it out. And I think the one thing that's really impressive, and I've always said, is the loyalty between those two made them royalty in boxing. And I think in boxing, loyalty is by far the greatest thing, and people that would stab the ones that taught them how to walk in the back are the lowest form in boxing, the lowest. Like they lose so much respect across the globe. Like when something happens regionally, like people just know the type of person they're dealing with, and they're a snake. And I'm just very fortunate to be surrounded with men like Bishop Walker and Cristian Fuentes and Austin DeAnda.
Got you. So how important is that for you to be able to focus on your fighters on the outside? Could you give some examples of things that you're doing to kind of keep the interference from them?
Well, I'm sorry, Austin, but so Cristian, he's like a dream as far as like outside of the ring. Like he's a grown man. He handles his business. Like I said, he has a great family. That kid coming up, Rashawn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's 19 years old. But I think, and not to take anything away from anybody else, right? Like, James has got a hard life. Austin had a hard life, right? So like, I have to check in on them constantly and just make sure they're making good financial decisions and good decisions for their health and just things like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to make sure they maintain their value, and they've got to see the long picture, right? Like this is a long road. Like, yeah, we could go out right now and take a fight that wasn't good for him, or like, I mean, look at the fight they just did to James Willis, right? Like I didn't have the foresight to know the ref was going to screw him on ESPN, and the man dominates this guy named Norman Neely for 2.5 minutes, and the first time James gets hit, they stop the fight. Norman, we'll make that rematch anytime, anywhere, any place, as long as I get some say in the officials. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to watch out for those things, because they want to make it out right now.
Yeah.
But if we can do the long haul, the
Yeah.
big money will be better for them over the course of their life. I just want them to struggle a short time. The struggle is going to be short. I was telling one of the fighters that I mentored the other day, and I was like, I think it was Aziz Yassin, he was talking about the struggle and all these hard decisions and stuff. And I said, Aziz, this is going to sound crazy to you, but one day when you're my age and it's all over, you're going to look back. The struggle is going to be so short, you're going to miss it.
Wow. So was there ever a moment, I would say, Cristian, let's start with you, that you kind of rethought, like, is this for me?
Well, yeah, I think every boxer goes by, past that moment where like you feel stuck at one point, hey, do I'm built for this,
Mm-hmm.
But that's when the coaches come on, you know what I mean? Especially my coach, he's like a dad figure for me,
Yeah.
Every time I would be down or doubting my own self, he'd be like, "Hey, Gallo, you're gonna be a star, and that's what helped you, as a fighter. That if he believes in me, why I not believing in me,
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, it's always good to have a good corner and a good coach. So
is it just the physicality of training, or what was making you kind of think that?
well, you get to a point, that like you feel like you're getting a stop, or even in life, you get to some spot. You feel, hey, I'm doing everything I can, but I'm still in the same spot,
Got you.
So maybe that a little bit of training, the training part, or like the skills part. I was like, man, I'm feeling like I'm getting behind,
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it's just life. That's how it goes. You don't learn everything in a minute,
Yeah.
So, but then, like I said, he was always there. Hey, you're doing good, you're doing good. All you gotta do is keep doing it. If you keep doing it, you're gonna get good at it. You know what I mean? The thing is not to stop. So, yeah, and that's what I did. I never stopped because he was there behind me every time. And look, we're here.
How important is having patience as a fighter?
Oof, really important. Hey, listen,
Yeah, both of y'all smile when I said
nah,
that.
it's crazy. I mean, especially when you're learning, when you're in the beginning, you want to get done everything quick, like I said, I did a mistake, trying to get in another promotion, they were promising me they were going to move me quicker. So, I fell into it, right? And when I should have just taken my time, I look at the whole picture and see if it's good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would say you have to be patient and in training and the whole business part. So, yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
You're learning, the hard way or the easy way. But either way, you're learning. You know what I mean?
So, Austin, Cujo is a dog. So, I'm pretty sure you got that dog in you, too. So, how important is it having that? So, we talked about patience. So, what about that dog and that perseverance?
I've never been raised to give up, never been raised to quit. When I dedicate myself to something, I'm going to do it to the fullest potential that I can. Whether or not I'm behind somebody, whether or not they're surpassing me for a minute, I'm still going to do what I got to do because I got a destiny to prove. And when I wrestled, it really showed me what patience was about. I got into wrestling to lose weight. Didn't think I was going to go far in it at all. And I stayed in it for a while. And I always used to get nervous. I always tried to rush the process. And my coach told me to have faith in my training because you've trained for this moment. You've trained to get to where you're at. So don't rush it. You're training to get to where you want to be at. You're not rushing for, there's no need to rush. It's still going to be there at the end of the day, whether or not you go down the hard path or you go down the extremely hard path.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get to one way or another, but you don't need to take extra obstacles or extra challenges along the way to try to prove yourself to anybody.
Yeah.
Like Cristian said a minute ago, he wanted to rush it, and he learned, I could just wait and be patient, and I'm going to end up the same way. So why try to rush it? There's never a forward in life. You don't have a cheat code to get somewhere to be successful. You gotta make your own, owner's manual. You gotta live the life to leave back for somebody else. Give them the blueprint to make their way up.
Yeah.
And patience has always been, my biggest asset. I've always waited till the time is right. And I've waited my whole life to get to this point. So why not wait a little bit more, to get to the big picture of it.
Yeah. And how old are you?
I'm 22.
22. So, man, that's young, man. So how does it feel being 22 years old and you're the face of the region, right? And then how do you adapt to that? And then where do you see yourself going in about 5 to 8 years? That's a mouthful.
Yeah, 5 to 8 years. It's hard to tell where I'll be at. I've gotten this far in 5 years.
He's going to be the world champion.
And,
He will undoubtedly be the best 160-pound fighter in the world in 5 years.
And I'm gonna live up to it. I'm definitely gonna show why I'm here. Why they see me pop up on the news. Why they hear my name. Why they see me all over social media. And I'm gonna prove to everybody that I'm not just some Amherst kid that was a troublemaker, that was some fat boy. I'm gonna show them who Austin DeAnda is as a person, as a man, and definitely as a boxer. And in 5 to 8 years, I'll be looking back. I'm not going to be retired. I'm still going to be fighting because I don't give up. Just because you get that one big paycheck don't mean that that's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
$100,000 you can go through like that. 500,000 you can go through crazy too. I want to keep stacking and keep growing as a person, as a man, and definitely as a fighter, because I want to be able to give back to my community and then give my family everything that I've left behind for them, so they don't have to go through what I went through.
So you avoided the first part of the question. He basically asked you, how does it feel at only 22 years old and boxing for such a short period of time to have already replaced me? How does that feel for you?
Huge, man. At age 22, it's huge.
It's a great feeling. Most 22-year-olds are not doing what I'm doing. And I feel like being 22 years old, being guided the right way, by a great person and a great fighter, I feel like that I'm surpassing him and that he's willingly choosing to be next to me the whole ride. It's great because I've had a lot of people come with me through boxing, but only one person has stayed, and it's been Scott. And when I first started the gym, there was 15, 20 people every day here sparring. Gradually got smaller. Now it's just me and Scott. And I feel like me having that grit and having that dog in me to not give up and to be the best that I can be, that's why I'm where I'm at 22.
Let me give Austin his flowers here, and touch on some things that they both said. So, they're talking about the patience and wanting the money. So, like when a fighter starts out in professional boxing, unless they have a deep amateur pedigree and get signed to a major promoter, they might fight for $400, $800, right?
Wow.
And Austin's had to work part-time jobs to make sure he's focused on this sport. You know what I'm saying? He's made a lot of sacrifices. He's on the cusp of making $100,000 in one night, and he's about 4 fights away from making $1 million in one night. So I mean, he's believed it through all that adversity. One thing I want to touch on that Cristian said is he said something that everybody said, what do you want in a fighter? What do you want? Speed? Do you want this? But Cristian describes what is the most important thing in being a professional fighter. You have to keep showing up. That's what he described. You just keep showing up. And to describe the things that Austin does, there's a guy in here that trains and he wants to dabble in sparring, and he's been trying to spar for 5 months. I want to spar. So the other night he said, hey, I got to work for 3 hours. I can't come to sparring, but I really want to spar. I said, well, you don't want to spar. You like the idea of sparring. I called Austin, it might have been 10 weeks ago now, and he had a great job. He's making like $20 an hour or something. I know that might not be a lot to some of you guys, but to a 22-year-old kid, you know, it's a good job. It worked well with his schedule. And I got a call for this camp down in Texas where there was sparring with these two top-level guys. And they told me, so I called Austin and I said, hey, man, these two top-level guys need sparring down in Texas for 5 weeks. And Austin's first response was, when do I need to quit my job? There's no excuses. Because, see, what Austin does is incredible. He doesn't allow excuses. You know, some fighters, they'll pick a second-rate trainer, not the best trainer. They'll pick not the best manager. They'll take not the best promoter. Now, a lot of people think it's because they're not smart, but that's not what they're doing. They're scared of failure, so they want to have an excuse ready. Austin is an excuseless fighter. James Willis is an excuseless fighter. Cristian Fuentes is an excuseless fighter. Those things are important. The culture we've come up in, it's always an excuse. It's always a reason. Austin has gotten rid of them. He just does the work, and he shows up, like Cristian said.
What's up, man? And it's pretty big with you guys being your age. So, Cristian being 24. So a lot of people see you guys that, you know, they see you training and they see you going after the belt. But let's talk about some of the sacrifices, because I remember things I was doing at 24, right? And so I remember playing football or basketball during school. It's kind of organized sacrifice. You get the summer off or whatever, you get the off season. But what are you guys giving up at your age to stay dedicated? Because I think a lot of people see you guys and they think it's easier said than done. And they think, oh, yeah, I'm going to get in there and, you know, spar with my man. But, you know, you guys are really giving up a lot in your personal life and a lot of your, what I would say, prime years of your life.
I mean, yeah, man, you give up a lot. All the fun part, you give it up. If you want to do this for real, you got to give it up. The party, you know, the drinking, the smoking, the girls here and there, you know, all that. You have to quit it. You know what I mean? You can't do it if you want to dedicate your life to the sport. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard, you know. Our age, 22, 24, almost everybody wants to do that. Party, you know, go out, have fun, instead of being in the gym, sweating, crying, you know, bleeding. And that's what we do. But that's why we're different, you know. That's why we are where we're at. And that's the difference between the people who really wants to do this and regular people. Is a lot, and especially like on the family side, it's a lot, you know. Man, you have to special days. You miss special dates. You know, that's one of the hard part. You miss a lot of dates that, you know, you miss a lot of cookouts with the family because, you know, you have to be in the gym. You have to be getting ready for a fight.
But do they support, like when you guys miss?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, that's when you and around the good people, you know, like your family support you and love you. They understand that, you know, it's your life, you know, that's your dream, and they're gonna support it, even if they get hurt they get hurt while you're doing it too, because you know it's hard for the family too, not just for the fighter, it's for the family too. You know, they can't see you, you know, you miss those dates. They want you to be there, have fun with them. But you can't. But they're sector and a supporter, you know. But yeah, man, it's tough. But at the end of the day, everything pays off.
Worth it, right?
Yes, sir.
I definitely feel like if you got the right family behind you, you know, they're gonna understand you gotta make sacrifices to be great. And my family, and they know that. You know, I've missed weddings, I've missed a funeral of my best friend. You know, I've missed a lot because I wanna do something for myself and my family. You know, at the end of the day, you're giving one mom, you're giving one dad, and I want to get back to them before it's too late. They done what they could do for me. Now it's my turn to give my kids something and my family something, because without them getting me to Scott, Austin wouldn't be a thing. You know, the native nightmare that everybody knows me as wouldn't be a thing. I wouldn't exist if it weren't for my parents guiding me, keeping me on a straight, narrow path to get to Scott. Now Scott's taking over. Now he's pushing me down the path that I need to get to, which is greatness. And all of the sacrifices that we make, you know, I had to quit my job. You know, I've had a training camp where I was homeless. It's still coming in the gym because I don't believe in giving up. You know, that's not me. You know, I was homeless during a fight camp. My first fight in Lynchburg, I was homeless, trained for it, stopped the guy because I knew that if I just held on to a little bit longer of the pain and the suffering of not having the money, not having the cool looking cars, not having, multiple houses, that I would eventually get there. So I got to make all the sacrifices I can now for, the rest of my life to be peaceful. And, God never said that the path would be, would be easy, but showing up would be worthwhile. So that's what I'm here for. And I'm going to definitely stick by that.
First off, I have to say that was one of the most beautifully said things that you've ever done. And Austin's not the best at interviews. He does most of his talking with his hands.
Killing it today, man.
But I want to say, like, how serious, I've given Austin his flowers, but how serious Cristian takes it. And he was further out from a fight, and we had a sparring session scheduled. And Cristian, I think, made the right decision in this moment. And, my grandfather had a surgery when I was in fight camp once. I missed it. He died. One of the moments I regret is one of my children, when very early in life, I was fighting on Showtime against super middleweight world champion Caleb Truax. My son had a surgery. I didn't break camp. I didn't go to it. I have a lot of regrets for that, and I wish I would have took it back. Cristian made a hard decision. He texted me, and he apologized. And this is how serious he took it. His grandfather was on his last breath. But I knew, he made the right decision. But that's how serious he takes boxing. He had to weigh that, right? And, to have fighters like that are giving you everything and having to weigh decisions like that, that's the kind of people that I want inside of my ring.
I'm amazed. I think whatever you guys are doing as far as the mentorship, man, because these guys, just listening to them as I'm setting up, they very mature, seem very dedicated, and you can see it in their eyes, you know what I mean? I was working out yesterday, not to be corny, but the Rocky IV soundtrack, I like that. It gets me dialed in, you know what I mean? But I think you can definitely see the eye of the tiger, man, in you guys. Because I said, I know what I was doing when I was 24 and just seeing the mental of guys, and you see it now. You see athletes that smoke, drink, party, can't stay out of trouble, and it's and it affects you down the road, right? So I think Scott is doing a great job of preparing you guys, especially for deals and branding. But man, I'm just blown away, man. Just blown away just having the conversation.
Bishop gets some of the credit too with
Yeah.
Cristian now.
Yeah, just the conversation, just how focused you guys are. So Cristian, how important is it? I remember hearing you guys talk about where you're from and your people back home. So how important is it to be in the spotlight to inspire people that look like you, sound like you, and maybe have the same struggles as you?
Oof, man, it's something that I love. Be able to do to inspire people, and have people to look at me like they want to be like me. I got a lot of people back in my country. They just want to be like me. They want to be where I'm at, and they're working hard for it. Man, it motivates me a lot to keep working hard, get to the highest, to get to my best level, so I can show them that it is possible to do it. All it takes is discipline, hard work, and believe. So, man, it's something that, so special. It's special to have people looking at you, trying to be like you, you know what I mean? It's a motivation to me that, I just want to keep going, do better, and prove that and everything is possible. I was a kid that never had a fight in the street, never had a fight, ever. And look at me, man, you know what I mean? I'm here, and there is kids that, they're going through a lot of stuff, going through a hard life, and they don't have no belief in themselves, They feel like, I'm done, and I'm here to tell you guys, you're not. All you got to do is take that decision and work for it, It's something that you want to do, and stick to it, you will get it done.
I want to say I know some things about Cristian. I mean, he sends immense amounts of, he started a company when he was young. He's earning money through this and that. Like I said to you earlier, he's El Salvadorian national news every time he fights. he's so selfless. You know, I know he sends a vast majority of his money back to support some of his family. I think that's really big of him, especially at 24 years old. I believe we were in a mall in New Jersey, and we were walking, and there was a woman that had this stroller trying to get on this escalator. Cristian walked over. He said, "Can I help you?" And I think he thought the woman trusted him so much she almost handed him the baby. But he closed up the stroller. He carried it up the steps, up the escalator, and put it down. And I mean, just what an incredible human. And then him talking about, you know, he's not fought before this. The first time I ever sparred Cristian, I admit that I still got the better of you, but I barely did. It took everything in me because I had underestimated him, and I'm telling you, it was way harder than it should have been. I mean, this guy has, for this early, he has some scrap in him. He has fire in him. He learns quick too. Like in the sparring session, he learned when he's with Austin. Don't let that pretty smile fool you. I mean, he will knock somebody the hell out.
Seeing you guys, especially like listening to you guys joke. So how important is it to have that family vibe? Even though you got different mothers and fathers, man, I think you guys are family. What does that mean to you guys?
No. Go ahead.
Makes everything easier. I think so. You know, you got good environment, everything flows better. You know what I mean? We get along together and we joke around, so everything is fun. You know, it's not like a job. Oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you know. We all got different opinions. Laugh about it. When we get serious, when we need to get serious, like a family. So it helps, everything gets better, you know, when you get along with the people you're working around or the people around you.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it makes me have a lot less anxiety. For one, you know, I can spend all this time with them, and then eventually the reality of it is, like, I'm the boss right now. Even though we're partners, I'm sort of the boss. But in the end, when they make it to where they're going, they could crush me like a bug. But they're not going to because they're my family. They have loyalty. Loyalty in boxing is everything. So I'm pouring my heart and soul into them, but I know that they're not going to screw me. And they know the position I'm in, and there's plenty of guys that do this. I see it all the time. It's disgusting. I could easily steal from them. Even my own fighters that I don't have, they'll call me. They'll be like, "Scott, this fight's $20,000. Why don't you offer the fighter 15 and me and you will split the 5? I'm like, "Oh, man, I'm not doing that. Like, you're going to have to find something else to do because we're not doing that." It's like, I don't take from the fighters. I was a fighter myself. But, yes, I mean, I guess just that level of trust it creates. You know, I've been burned a lot of times in boxing. It's dirty. But like I said, I know those types of people are going to get their karma, and they're not going to make it anywhere because where I'm at in the hierarchy of boxing, and then I explain that to the people. And anybody coming from Virginia, they always call me to get the lowdown. Go ahead, Austin.
You know, I go by, you got two type of friends. You got a friend that you can call till 6 p.m. You got a friend you can call at 4 in the morning. And I know if I'm in trouble at 4 in the morning, if I'm broken down, I just got jumped, or something's happened that I need help, I can call Bishop, I can call Cristian, or I can call Scott. And they're going to be there, right? That's what makes a family family. You got to have the loyalty. You got to have trust in one another. You know, you can't sit here and have, you know, I know for guaranteed that we can leave money next to each other and it's not going to get taken. You got some people out here that as soon as you turn your back, that money's gone and so are they. And, you know, Scott said that he could steal from me. He could have stole from Cristian, but he chooses not to. Why? Because he has respect for us as people and us as fighters. And I think when you have that amount of respect for somebody that you barely knew in the beginning and y'all grown to have a great relationship, there's just nothing that can break it. And I think that's where it comes into play.
I'm very transparent with them, with all the business. I show them where all the numbers are going. Certain promoters have things where they pay guys like me on the side. If that happens, I take that out of the percentage that they would owe me and things like that. And I would hope that I've taught them so much and I'm so transparent with them, and then what they're going to learn still in the future, that once they're done, they could replicate what I've done. And that's my hope, that I'm so transparent with them and open with them, teaching them about the business, that they can do this for somebody else one day if they choose to.
Wow. Big, man, because a lot of people try to gatekeep that.
You just be
You wouldn't
straight
know.
with your people. You ain't got to beat around the bush. You know, he tells us, hey, you messing up. You need to do this. Hey, you drop that hand like that, you going to get knocked out. Hey, you do this. You going to, you know, he's straight up with us, and that's just what you need. You can't have that soft stuff around you. You know, this is a hard sport. You know, we're getting paid to hit each other in the face. You know, either one of us could, you know, pass away or our opponent could pass away. So, you know, have your faith in your team because at the end of the day, nobody believed in you but your team. And that's how I look at it.
Let's talk about September. Both of you guys fighting?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Cristian, let's start with you. So tell us about your fight, who you're fighting, and how you're feeling.
Then Scott can say more or who I'm fighting.
Yeah, so he's fighting a guy that's got, I think the guy's got 54 fights. He's got an upside down record, and a lot of people, casual fans, would think that you know, oh, it's a cakewalk. The honest truth is most of these, no, not most, every single one of these people that are going to rewatch this, if they fought an 0-5 fighter, they're going to get knocked out in 30 seconds. All right. So now Linwood, he's you know, he's been around a long time. He's a great fighter. He's a great man. I'm glad I'm using him. I think he's going to do a great job testing Cristian. He's fought a lot of my prospects. None of them have ever stopped him. Cristian's only got 4 rounds to do it. Hopefully he can. Unfortunately for Linwood, I love you, bro. But to put perspective on this guy, just 2 fights ago, he knocked out a 12-3 fighter in his hometown, knocked him out. So there's certainly a level of risk there for Cristian. But like I said, this is like I've been saying, this is Cristian's last tune-up type fight in his track to becoming one of the headliners on the card. So we're going to be stepping up his opposition after this. This is his final test.
Got you. So Cristian, without saying too much, you know, I don't know how you guys strategize or plan. What are some of your strengths? Like, what are you great at?
Everything, man. You know, man, you gotta believe in yourself. I'm good at everything, man. I'm great.
Great answer. Great answer.
You know, and the more I do this, the better I get. You know, so I mean, if I tell you what I'm good at, I gotta tell you everything about boxing.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Look, I think Austin will agree with this. I think Cristian's greatest asset is he has extremely fast hands, like very fast hands.
yeah, I mean,
About boxing now.
everything. I mean, I got the speed, I got the power. You know what I mean? What you want?
He's got the ladies. We got to get extra security at the locker room when he fights. It's crazy.
So is there a fighter that you kind of see yourself at, you know, kind of resembling?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's always. I think everybody has that. You know.
Yeah.
There's so many great fighters out there, man. You know, tell you one right now, at the top of the head. I like Canelo's power. You know how he moves. I like Mayweather, his defense.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to copy. You can't do it like him, but you can't. You know, you can try.
Yeah.
I like Mario Barrios. Love that guy, man. So I take a little bit of something from a lot of boxers. I don't have one that I'm like, I just want to be like him. I want to do what he does. I like to take whatever they're good at it and trying to put it on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a little bit of something.
So are you more of a defensive fighter or are you more of an offensive fighter? Would you categorize yourself?
I mean, they can say, but I feel both of them. I mean, if I got
Offense. He needs to get a little bit more defensively disciplined, but he's got blistering hand speed. He loves to use it. The crowd likes to watch him do it. And then just his charisma is another strength he has. I mean, look at him. Just his smile, his energy is infectious, right? Like that's the kind of person that I want to be an advocate for not just my company, but for the sport of boxing.
Yeah. What about you, Austin? How you feeling about September?
I'm ready. You know, I had a training camp with some legit guys. One of them was David Stevenson. Stevens, I'm sorry.
Sorry, David.
Sorry. Stevens. Vito Melnicki. I got to meet a couple of other great fighters. Like, I got to meet a coach, Ronnie Shields. I got to meet Andreas. How you pronounce his last name?
He's Greek. He might be fighting boots next. He's a beast. I'm sorry, Andreas. Can't say your last name either.
Andreas. And just I know that I'm ready for whatever's about to be thrown my way. I was in there with, some of the top levels that you can get to, and being so young and going to get work like that from top level guys like Marquise Taylor, Vito Monique, David Stevens. Like, I think I've grown as a person and as a fighter because I was able to see different looks from different people. And I know September 6th, I'm going to showcase my skills like I've been doing, but I'm a different fighter stepping in there because I've had different looks. I've been in there with top level guys. And yes, they got better, the better of me, but I was showing them that I was still there. And I think that's all that matters is you showing them and you letting them know, hey, like, I'm here too. Even if they get the better hand of me, I didn't give up. I got the hell beat out of me a couple of times, but I was still standing there because I was like, nah, I just can't give up. Because you don't want to look like no, coward in front of these people. Yeah. I mean, it took a chance to bring me all the way there. And, hopefully they give me the opportunity to come back and be able to grow again. And September 6th, I'm going to take care of that. And then I got more things that I got to take care of.
Well, to give you an idea of what kind of caliber fighter Austin is currently, those guys he mentioned, David Stevens, that Friday after he left camp, David Stevens fought on DAZN in a fight that I assume paid six figures and won. The next night on ESPN in the main event, Vito Mielnicki won a fight on ESPN in a fight that I'm almost positive paid six figures plus. And so he's in camp with these guys. They're bringing him down to train with them. They have that kind of respect for him. And I also want to just extend a great gratitude and thanks to the Mielnicki family, Little Vito and Big Vito, for thinking of us and granting Austin that type of opportunity. I appreciate you guys, and he's improved a lot as a fighter and as a person from being in you guys' sphere of influence.
And also, I only knew Vito. I only met him one time, and I was 19 years old, correct? Went to New Jersey, and he gave me the opportunity to spar him, and I sparred him for 4 rounds. He got the better of me. I was, but he gave me that opportunity. 2-3 years passed, and to bring me, and we've only had a conversation one time, and it was 3 years ago, and he brought me to allow me to be in his camp, to allow me to live with them, to show me what it is to live at that high level. Like, hey, this is what we do every day. This is, how I meal prep. This is what I do as a fighter to get to where I'm at. I know, okay, this is what they're doing. For me to get to where they're at, I got to do the exact same thing. I got to copy everything that they're doing, whether it's, taking my rest days serious, meal prepping the right way, not cheating. Oh, let me go slip, eat something that I'm not supposed to. You got to stay consistent. You got to stay, determined through the whole 6 weeks, 8 weeks, however long your camp is, because you got to suffer for a short amount of time to live at peace.
I'm going to say this. It's something I hope that I'm around when he gets inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. I would love to be his presenter, and I will say this story or a piece of it when that time comes. But thinking about that trip to New Jersey, like, I'm almost getting tears in my eyes now. And I'm very thankful for what boxing has done for Austin to this point and what it's going to do. We're driving up, me and Dallas Brewer, the coach from Waynesboro. We're going over into Atlantic City. And Austin looks out and he says, "Oh, is that what the ocean looks like?" Never been there. We get in, we get to bed. We get up the next morning. We go to sparring. We go to the Showtime fights because Vito was nice enough to give us tickets to watch that. And then we left. Austin never went and asked to go to the beach or see the ocean in person. He just went. He knew what his work was. But I just think there's so many things in that story that tell you where he came from and where he's going. And it's like Manny Pacquiao said, from nothing to something. And it might not feel like it, but you're already something, kid.
Man. Powerful, man. God, I remember you seeing you go Facebook Live. So is this one of their last fights?
Oh,
Under
yeah.
you, or
Yeah, so
do I have that right?
Yeah, well, so Austin and James Willis have signed with a new promoter on the block, very formidable. Formidable. They're going to take over boxing. I'm not at liberty to say the name or exactly what that takeover is going to look like. I'll leave it at that. But Austin and James are leaving with that, and then Cristian, this is his, like I said, his last fight, and then he is going to step up, and he is going to take that main event mantle. And I ran the first lap of the race. Austin ran the second lap, and Cristian Fuentes is going to get to run this third lap on the Cujo toe-to-toe race. And I know he's going to do a wonderful job. I think he's going to bring a whole lot of new fans and faces out. I think he's going to bring more Latinos to the crowd, and I think he's going to bring a whole lot of women because of how pretty he is. But and then I hope that these two, and especially Cristian, because he's going to be local, he's going to be the spark that lights that next flame. And I don't know who you are, and I know you're out there, and maybe you won't see this until after you're here, but I look forward to meeting you.
So, Cristian, how important is it then for them, by you guys being local, how important is it for them to come out?
Hey, it's really important, to show the love to the sport and to help us to keep growing as a fighter. The promotion, toe-to-toe promotion. You want to support now. You don't wait to support until we get to the top. We're not going to know who you are. Right now, we can take pictures with everybody who comes to the show. I can remember your face. You gotta come to the show, man. You gotta have fun. You come to have fun. Come to support us. That's the most important thing. We're putting our lives on risk every time we get to the ring, and all we're asking for y'all is to buy a ticket, have fun, and come enjoy the show. That's all we're asking for.
It's definitely for the kids. We want to be a role model that they can look up to, and those are the first people I take pictures with after a fight.
Yeah.
Any fight is the kids, because at that moment, they're like, he's a superstar. They're going to grow up knowing, I met that guy. I met him when I was such and such age. I got gloves from that guy. As some of the adults, yes, they're excited to see us. Yes, they're excited to be there and support us. But the kids are going to forever live with that one moment. And some of them adults only care for themselves for right now. And some of them didn't even support me in the beginning. And I'm talking about my own family. So people like to be involved when you're already settling down, but they don't ever want to be there when it's getting built.
True.
Well, I'll say, the community's done a great job. We've grown into a powerhouse. I mean, we're paying, TV type money to some of these fights. I had James Willis fight one of the top heavyweights in the world, and to a draw. Everybody thought I was foolish for spending so much money, but the community of Lynchburg has built that. You guys have seen, I've went to these shows in Philadelphia and in Baltimore, and the arena's empty. Our arena's always full. You guys have shown a lot of love and gave us a lot of power here. That's how I've created this man through we've created him, but mostly him. But we've given him the stage. It doesn't matter how much talent you have if you don't have the stage. And Cristian's coming up next. But to touch on what Cristian and Austin said, everyone wants to be a part of the result, but no one wants to be a part of the process. The problem is the process is where you find out who's worth sharing the result with. And that's why we need you guys. I mean, we've got a lot of people that support us. I can name a few guys offhand, like, Rick Gammon. He's a fan. He comes to every show. I seen him at my first fight in Lynchburg in 2009. Patrick Brunk with Premier Concrete. He's been a big-time supporter. Matthew Pack with Pack Law Group. Damon Trent with Level Up Foundation Repair. We got some newer guys on the scene like Jamie Beckner with East Coast Hot Shots Trucking. Jacob Damala with The Trailer Spot. Alan Franklin with Franklin Trailer Company. And there's some of you guys that I may not remember at this moment, but these are the type of people, and especially the sponsors. The sponsors might not even be benefiting as much as their investment, But what they believe in is they believe in these guys, and they also believe in the experience. And they know when they put their dollars in, we can have world-class boxing right here in the backyard. So those companies I just named, they really care about you guys as a community. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to bring these types of fights here, because I know right now that investment is not paying off for them. Now, I think one day, hopefully, Austin and I can get in a position. But they're really doing it out of love for the pugilist and out of love for the community and the fans. And I appreciate all you guys and all you guys that come to all the fights. I love all of you, and we couldn't do it without you.
That's what's up. So as we come to a close, we just want to go one by one. Is there anything that you guys want to say to the audience? Start with you, Cristian.
Oh yeah, man. First of all, I want to say thank you to the people in Lynchburg, because, man, y'all have shown me so much love every single fight, so much love, so much support. I just want to say thank you, and I hope, y'all keep doing it. I'm going to keep working hard for y'all to enjoy the show, give you all my best, and you guys, all I need for you guys is to keep coming to the shows, having fun. Quiero hablar también a la gente latina de Lynchburg, que se presenta la pelea, el Gallo Negro, El Salvador, mi gente de Guatemala, siempre estamos aquí representando. Necesitamos ayuda para seguir creciendo. Y, yeah, right now, el Gallo Negro, papá.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that has supported me from day one, and thank you to the new supporters that are, new people that are supporting me. Without y'all, I couldn't be anything. And, y'all gave me my opportunity to showcase my skills for y'all in Lynchburg. Y'all gave me the opportunity to be able to perform at the higher level, bigger stages. And I'm glad to pass down the torch to Cristian, because he's a great athlete, a great human being, and I know that he got what it takes to get to the top as well.
Thank you, man.
One thing that I've noticed we always have the same 2,000-3,000 people at the fights. People think it's like some scam or it's not legit and things like that. To give you guys perspective, Cristian, I've had a representative from MVP Promotions, Jake Paul's company, reach out with interest in Cristian, just to legitimize him. Lorenzo Simpson is appearing on the card. Truck, as many of the boxing fans know him, he's trained by Calvin Ford. Tank Davis's trainer. Lorenzo, or Truck, just appeared on ESPN, fought in a very close fight with Tucker and lost. James Willis, one of the top heavyweights in the country at only 6-2, should be 8-0, but he's gotten hosed twice. He just appeared on ESPN. Austin DeAnda is one of the top 20 middleweights in the country, and he just appeared on ESPN. We have 3 fighters that are coming off of ESPN appearances on this single card right here in Lynchburg, Virginia. All right, September 6th at Crosswhite Athletic Club. Saturday, September 6th, Crosswhite Athletic Club. 8 professional boxing matches. This is the real deal. This is right here in your hometown. We have guys come from these TV arenas and all these places. They come down here. They are so impressed. The chief editor of FightNews.com is coming. We've had top fighters from all around the world attend these events. A lot of you guys say, I don't know if I want to come. I have people coming in from Florida, Louisiana. I have one guy flying in from the UK. It's in your backyard. You do not have to go to Vegas to see world-class boxing. It's right here. The $150 ticket sold out June 6th in the first hour because people know what it is. Those are the regulars. The $100 tickets sold out in the first hour. We've sold over 1,000 $55 tickets. The ticket is only $55. You get to see fighters fight in these other venues. That ticket would cost you $300 and $400. Come out, check it out. You don't know what you're missing. I promise you. I know you think I'm biased, but really, if you go there and you watch this, the energy and being part of these fighters' history is gonna leave you shaking. And one day you're gonna tell your grandchildren, just like these people that. And now I don't think he's going to get in this stratosphere, but people like, oh my gosh, I met Manny Well, maybe Pacquiao, but I was going to say Ali. I met Ali. I shook his hand. This could be your moment. You were there with Austin DeAnda. You got to take a picture with him. You got to see him in his last fight in Lynchburg. This is that moment. Don't miss it.
Guys, I'd just like to thank you guys, Cristian, Austin, Scott, for your time. Like I said, I wish you guys the best, healthy, prosperous career. Scott, I thank you and, on the behalf of the Hurt Factory for believing in my brand and picking my brand to tell your story. It means a lot to me how you've gotten behind me and pushing my brand. So, like I said, man, I just want to just thank you again. It means the world to me that you guys are actually taking time out of your training camp to sit down with me for an hour.
I'm telling you, I've been hyping these guys up a lot. I'm not going to tell all of his business, but Jonathan Smith, Teflon John, amazing human. You've seen the way he's led this conversation. You've seen the interview that he did with me. Any of you business owners out there, anyone even with a story that you think needs to be heard, don't go to the news in advance. Don't go to WSET. Come to this man. He's one of us. He's part of the community. Support him the way that you've done me and the things that you've done for Austin DeAnda. John, you're an incredible person. Your story's incredible, and it inspires me as a fighter. And thank you very much for doing this for us.
Thank you. That was a wrap on this episode. So you guys got to get out there to fight. And what's the date again?
September 6th, Crosswhite Athletic Club.
September 6th. Show some love. Show some support. We got some big boxers in our own backyard. And if you guys, like Scott said, if you own a business and you have a story to tell, go to teflon.com/be a guest. And as I always say, one love, but it's your choice to be blessed.